Please give a round of applause for คุณเฮนรี่ครับ
สวัสดีครับ ผมชื่อ Henry Lim. Okay, that's all the Thai I know. So the whole section, this talk will be in English. Okay, everyone can understand, right? Okay. So, a super short introduction. I do not work in life. Okay. I'm from Malaysia. I'm a Malaysian, and I'm a Google developer expert in web technologies. So today I'm going to talk about the Firebase Admin SDK. And of course, I'm a front-end developer. I'm working in Thailand right now. Okay, so that's the introduction. So the most important thing, Firebase. Anyone here doesn't know what is Firebase? If not, why you are here? Okay, so you know Firebase is awesome. You know Firebase is super cool. It allows you to build awesome application. Very easy, right? Anyone here don't like Firebase? No? No? Everyone love Firebase, right? Okay, so you heard from our previous section, you know how awesome is Firebase. You can use it for machine learning, use it for Flutter, iOS app, Android app, web app. You can do it for anything, even for game, right? It has the Unity SDK, so you can do it for your game. But there's a front end, right? There's a client side. You use it for all the client side. So this view looks something like this. I think Jirawa asked this question before. Who is front-end developer? Front-end developer plus mobile developer. Okay. So you know front-end, the Firebase client-side SDK is very powerful. You can use it to do everything. Real-time database, Firestore, cloud messaging, cloud storage, what else? ML kit, and more. So Firebase works on this kind of platform, and this is just a few examples. It works on C++, and more. So this is not only what Firebase can do and where Firebase can run. So any back-end developer. Okay. Yes, so that's what back-end developers do. They face behind the monitor and they write code. So they are very, very smart. They can code without looking at the screen. Right. They are important, they are genius, right? So you hear a lot. Okay, by the way, anyone here tried Firebase Admin SDK before? That's a lot. Okay, so you use the client-side SDK, right? But sometimes you want more feature. You want to extend the function what Firebase client SDK can do. So if you want to do that, you need to create your own backend, write the backend code, and integrate with Firebase. So in this case, you need something called Firebase Admin SDK. So by using this, you can extend the function of Firebase to your own backend, and you can create even more function. Let me show you an example. So before that, what is Firebase SDK? It's basically SDK. It allows you to let your backend connect to the Firebase directly. So it allows you to do a lot of stuff, and you can run it for almost all type of server. So if your company has your own server, you can do it. If you're using Google Cloud, you're using all the platform as a service or the infrastructure as a service, you can run Firebase there. Or if you're more on serverless platform, if you're more on serverless architecture, like if you use Google Cloud Functions or the Amazon Lambda, and yes, you can run the Firebase Admin SDK on this cloud platform. So if you have server, you can run Firebase Admin SDK. And it works on a lot of language, which I'll show you later. So what can you do with the Firebase Admin SDK? Can you access to Firebase server itself? Can you hack Firebase using the SDK? Okay, so by doing this, you can do a lot of stuff. You can actually have more control on what you can do from the Firebase client SDK. And by using the Firebase Admin SDK, the Firebase itself actually relax some security rules. Means you have basically admin access, full access to all the Firebase features. So let's show you an example. This is the whole list, all the features what you can do using Firebase. But I'm going to talk about, show you some example what you can do. So let's say you are admin, right? admin, remember you are admin. Admin can do everything. Using the real-time database or the Firestore. If you are admin means you have full access to read and write. You can do whatever you want. If you store the password in a plain text in the database, means the admin can access it and view it. Of course, please do not do that. Please encrypt the password first. But that's not only what you can do. If you are using, let's say, Firebase authentication, and this is where the Firebase Admin SDK become very, very useful. You want to have multiple type of user in your app, right? In your app, maybe you have paid subscriber and free user. We have admin and normal user. We have different type of user. But if you only use the client-side SDK, which is not easy for you to set this kind of stuff. By using the admin SDK, you can set, which I'll cover later, you can set basically custom roles for the user linked to the Firebase authentication. So you don't need to create a new database just to store the user profile. You can just extend the feature what the Firebase authentication gives you. What else? And of course, this is one of the popular thing you can do using the admin SDK, which is the cloud messaging. So if you want to send a message, send a push notification to your user, you can just send 2 lines of code, and you can send the notification to everyone in your subscriber list. Basically, this is what you can do, and of course, you can do is basically you can extend the authentication. So right now, Firebase actually offer like Google login, Facebook login, Twitter login. If you have your own social media platform or any login system, you can integrate into this Firebase authentication. So it can be very, 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 very powerful. So speaking of powerful, fun fact about me, I just moved to Thailand 6 days ago. So I'm still in tourist mode. I'm looking for all the tourist place, all the food. That's what the crowd, right? The pork rice, right? It's amazing. And of course, this one is still my favorite. You can find this tom yum everywhere in Malaysia, and so popular that I create a Fire Tom Yum application just for myself. So I have a list of tom yum to know where should I go next. So it's a list of restaurants with some picture, which yes, this database is not the real one. Okay, just get some Thai restaurant and put some random tom yum photo. One thing after I developed this thing, I realized tom yum is YUM. I don't know, I used YAM. Okay, so that's the Fire Tom Yum. It's a web application which I created for myself, by me. So Firebase Admin SDK, you can run it on everywhere. I mean everywhere is this platform, which is currently officially supported by Firebase. So you can run it on Java, you can run it on Python, you can run it on Node.js, you can run it on Golang, if your server is using Go, and you can run it on C#. But one small thing, if your server is using C#, right now the Firebase Admin SDK, the support is not that good yet. It's coming soon. More feature you can do, as I showed you in the table previous slide ago. But basically, the most powerful one you can use is the Node.js server. I'm a web developer, I'm familiar with JavaScript. So, of course, I developed this Fire Tom Yum using Firebase Admin SDK Node.js. So, Node.js, okay? Sorry the rest, but Node.js. Okay, it makes sense why I use the Node.js later. Okay, so if you are a web developer, then you know to use this kind of SDK, you just always need to npm install everything, right? Of course, you can use yarn, it's alright. Either use yarn or npm, and of course, you can just download the zip file and extract yourself, which no one can do that. Okay, please do not do that. Okay, so in this case, since it's a Node.js, we just npm install, done. We got a Firebase Admin SDK inside our server already. So the next thing is to do is basically, of course, you need to open up your editor, set up your server. Once those things are done, you can initialize the Firebase Admin SDK. The code is surprisingly simple. This is how you can basically get full access to the Firebase Admin SDK, to a Firebase Admin. So the first line is basically you import the Firebase Admin SDK. The second line is to get the service account, which you can get from the Google Cloud Console. export the service account key in the JSON format, include in the Firebase. Initialize the app using that, and basically done. You set up the whole thing. Right? Looks easy, right? But. What if I can make your life easier? When that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines of code, right? Make it shorter. So, yes, we need to work smarter, right? To make our life easier. So remember, I told you you need to go to the Cloud Console and download the JSON file, which I hate that. I hate that step because I'm easy to switch back to my browser. So to solve the problem is actually not really solved. To help you, you have an alternative. Is to use Cloud Function for Firebase. So as I mentioned earlier, you can run Admin SDK on the serverless architecture or the serverless platform. In this case, you can run it on Cloud Functions, which is running on Google Cloud extremely fast. Right? It's free to use with a star behind. Right? You can use it for free, yes, with certain limitation, but most probably you won't hit the limitation. Yeah. So it's free to use, so why not use that? So since the Cloud Functions is running at the same, if you need to do something like this, you need to create a Firebase project and make sure the Cloud Function and the database, the authentication are in the same project. In this case, you can just use the function.config Firebase. From 7 lines to 3 lines. So our code is shorter and initialize the SDK in the same method. So in this case, we don't need to put the JSON file. Easier life, yes. Okay, so shows an example. So Firebase Admin SDK can do a lot of stuff, but today I'm just going to show you a few because I don't want to show you all, which you can just Google yourself. Right. But I just show you basically the most, I think it's the most useful one, which when you develop a very, let's say a simple app, this will be very useful. So the first one is basically if you have to create a custom permission model. So in other words, you have to have a regular user, admin user, or you have to have, like if you're building your own Spotify, you have a free user and a paid user. So how can you do that using Firebase authentication? It can be very, very simple. It's very, very simple. So what you need to do is what they call is the custom claim and the security rules. Two things. Right. So I believe all of you are familiar with this code. This one is the Firebase rules, which you can work on basically on. This one is the example from the real-time database. For the Cloud Firestore, it looks a little bit different, but basically the whole thing, the whole idea is still the same. So in this case, you may see something new. So in this case, we have read is true means everyone can read. But in the write, we have set the authentication.token.admin set to true. So everyone must have the token of admin, which is true. Then it only can have the access to read this file. If not, they can't read it. So using this method, you can create a different type of rules, different type of roles to your application. Not only limited to 2 rows. You can have as more as possible if you want. So this one is the rules. You set this, but this one the token.admin, you need to set it yourself. How you can set it? So first, let's talk about the UI. So go back to our UI. Since I'm an admin, right, I can add another admin so they can access to this system and can basically insert a new restaurant into the app. So in this case, basically a form. So we can have a new admin address and press a button. It will submit the email address, and the magic will do. The server will do some magic and make it happen. So JavaScript front end. So it's very, very simple. So when you submit the form, you basically drag to the database. So you push the email address to the database inside the children called admin. So once we push that, so remember I'm using Cloud Function for Firebase. So there are a few methods you can trigger your Firebase function, the Cloud Function. So one type is to use the HTTP request, means you just access through a normal URL. Or another method is through this kind of trigger. So in this case, the Firebase the function will automatically run if in this case, we are using the database, real-time database. So you can see on the first and the second line, the first line is the, actually I can look at the screen. Okay, so you can see the first line is basically if database, if Firebase real-time database, something happened in the position of admin then the email, right? So on the second line, you can see on create. Means if the new email is created in the list, we run this function. So in this case, what we will do is, what we want to do is, remember we got the odd.token.email. We want to set that to true. So in this case, we are using something called set custom user claims. So we set it, we need to get the user ID, which is the user unique ID, UUID or UID. Get the UID, set the admin to true. But before you can get the UID, remember we put in the email. So we need to get the email and basically convert it to get the UID. So in this case, we can just use this one. So we can use this admin.odd get user by ID and put in the email address. So from here, you can get the full information of the user by email. And you return a lot of stuff, the profile picture, the name. If there's a full number, you get the full number. You check if the user verified or not. And of course, the most important stuff you want to get is to get the UID. So we can use the user record.uid and get the UID, we can set it through the set custom user claim. So by using this, we are able to set it. So I can show you a quick demo. Okay, it's time to find where is my cursor. Ah, it's here. See the screen, right? Okay. Okay, so we have this one. Okay, right now I have two accounts. This is the second account. So what I can do is I can go to new.html. So I have a form which, in this case, only admin can write to the database. So as first step, basically I need to log in first. Okay. Internet. Okay. So I log in to another account. Okay, so now what I need to do is basically put in some random stuff. If I press submit, if you can see it's showing permission denied. So it means in this case, this user doesn't have admin access. So what we can do is go back to the account which have admin access, then we can have new admin.html. So in this case, we can put in my email. So if I press the create new admin, you basically add this email to the Firebase database, and the cloud function, like right now, is running and set this user as an admin. So when we go back to this page, we sign in again. So I sign in as the second admin. So I press continue. When I press submit, please work, please. See, it's added successfully. It's because right now this account is an admin. So by doing this, we can create multiple rows. So in this case, we just create a new admin. And so once this account has become an admin, we can put access to this application. So we just basically broke the application with the ugly, non-existing image. Okay? So this is the first thing. Let's go back. Okay, so just a recap what we did just now. So basically, we create a new admin, use the custom claims, custom rows to get and set the token as admin, set to true. Once the part is done, the second part is to remember to update your Firebase database rules. So you can have a normal access. So in this case, we set the right to authentication token admin true. Okay, if true, if it's an admin, then only has access to write. So that's the Firebase authentication. The next part, Firebase Cloud Messaging. Anyone here use FCM? Anyone here still using GCM? No? No one using GCM anymore, right? You need to upgrade, you know, right? Okay, please use FCM. By the way, that's actually a joke of what we say FCM in my university. FCM stands for Faculty of Creative and Multimedia. So that's the time from the GCM to FCM. I say, bye bye FCM, I'm moving to FCM. Then all my friends thought I'm moving to the faculty. I'm not from the faculty, but people thought I'm going to that faculty. Okay, by the way, so you know what is cloud messaging? You know what is FCM? It's very, very useful. And to make it even more useful, anyone use FCM with topics? FCM topics. So you push the notification through the topic. So I see two people raise their hand. So it's actually a better way. What I can see is you can customize let's say you're building a weather app, right? How you can set if how should I say it? Okay. So you are building a weather app, You have a lot of users, but some users only want to receive notification on certain stuff. For me, if I want to get a notification, I want to get the notification of the weather of Bangkok. But some people want to get the weather of Tokyo. But you can't send a push notification to everyone with the same stuff. So here's the topic. What you can do is you can set topic. So you can set if let's say the topic name is Bangkok. If you only send a notification to that user that subscribe to the Bangkok notification. So it's what we call topic. So in this case, in this application is when I create a new restaurant and when I press the submit, it will send a notification to the user. So it looks something like this. I show you the demo first. So I can go here. This one to turn off, do not disturb. Okay, so when I press submit, this works again. Okay. So enter successfully, I can see something come up. Right. I believe you can't see that because it's very, very small. But basically what you can see is it's showing we just added blue elephant to our collection and join. So what you can see, you actually can get the text, so it's more customizable. So we can show blue elephant, which is the restaurant name. I think it's somewhere in Bangkok. That's Google search randomly. So this is what you can do using the Admin SDK. So how we can do that is, again, I've used the Firebase cloud function again. It makes the code so short, and that's all the code you need to do. This one is which one? Okay, this one is the client side, means you have two parts. One part is the web application. You need to subscribe to the topic. So in this case is if any web developer that use push notification before. Okay, that's not a lot of people, actually. Okay, so basically, if you're a web developer, you should know there's something called service worker. If you want to have push notification feature in your web application, then you need to use service worker. But that's not important. This is not the web section. But we focus on the two highlighted part. So basically, the messaging dot request permission is to ask the browser, request a permission to usually you get a very annoying notification. The very annoying pop-out, right? Like this side want to access to the notification microphone, this kind of stuff. And once the user press yes or accept, then the browser can proceed to the next step is to use the messaging.get token. So in this case, it will generate a token, which you need to save this token to the database. So once you save the token to the database, from the back end, you can use it to send notification to the user. Okay? So once we got the token, we save this to the Firebase database. So once we got the token, we store it for future. So right now, I create a new restaurant in the app. So again, using the same method you see just now. So we got a function database. The item inside item ID, which is our new restaurant. And if the new restaurant is new created, then we can use the admin. We can send a message. We can send a message, in this case, specific push notification, and send it. But before we send it, we need to choose who we want to send and what is the content of the message. So, okay, so it's right here. So you can see the messaging, the MSG, the food one. The MSG is equal to admin messaging message. So in this case, we set two things. One is the notification, which is our content that you see on the notification itself. And the second one is an interesting one, which is the topic. Okay? So if the user, you can set, so before that, we straight away set, what is that? So we set the token to the database. Actually, we just set it to store inside the lab. Instead of new restaurant, then only the token. Like in this case, we just basically get the token. So what in this case you do is basically the admin messaging message. You send the notification to all users that subscribe to the new restaurant topic. So once you do that, you use this admin messaging .send. The moment you press it, you send notification to all your users. If you're on testing, please think before you run this function, okay? Else your user most probably will kill you. Okay, so once you run it, in this case, its cloud function is automatically triggered. So it automatically send a push notification, looks something like this. Okay? For production, please remember to add the icon to this thing. Okay? Make it look nice. And of course, if you are any designer here, no? UX designer or developer that have basic knowledge of UX stuff. Anyone horrible in UX? Okay, if you are good in UX or you should know this, when you're sending push notification, please do not send too generic message. If possible, customize your message. So in this case, the Fire restaurant is basically a dynamic content. So the user don't always get the same message. The user can know what is that before they click on it. So it's not basically a spam notification. Right. Have a designer do this. Okay, so just like I show you what you can do with Firebase Admin SDK. One is to do the custom roles. Another is to do the cloud messaging. There are more stuff like this small. You can do with Firebase Admin SDK. So one of my favorite things what I can do is TensorFlow. Anyone here know what is TensorFlow, right? Yes. Okay, so it's basically the machine learning stuff. Of course, you can use NLP if you want, but sometimes you want to have your own full control. So what you can do is you can link a server which runs the TensorFlow to Firebase using the Firebase Admin SDK. So what you can do is basically you can get the data from Firebase Admin SDK. Once you can write every 24 hours. Once there's a new data, you can run it, get the data from the real-time database or the cloud file store, and link it back to TensorFlow so you can train it and update your database. So in this case, few examples like you can create a recommendation. So you can recommend the user like what restaurant they should go this week or new song, the fashion stuff. So these are few examples what you can do with TensorFlow. And another one, search. Search is extremely useful and one of the important things you need to have in your app. Right? If you're building an e-commerce site, just not a restaurant app, you should have a search. So the user can search or at least do some filtering. So you can use something called like, this thing is called Elasticsearch. It's been a long time. Right? So they have a very good integration with their Firebase and this thing. So you can use this to create search feature in your app. So you can search, basically, in this case, you can search all data from the Firebase real-time database and the cloud file store. So this is what you can do using Firebase Admin SDK. So I think basically that's all from me. Right. Okay. Okay, so basically that's all. You can find me on Twitter. If you have any question, you can find me on Twitter, which is this one, Henry96. I'll be there quite active. Any question? But if you have a question, please ask in English.
Could you please tell me how to use Elasticsearch in Firebase? Because Firebase, to be honest, it's not a complex database. It's been like complicated.
answer.
Yes, you answer for me.
Okay. So if you would like
You
to
can
do,
answer in Thai also.
I think you would like to do the full Texas in the real-time database, right? Or maybe Firebase, right? Now in the cloud function for Firebase sample, source code in the GitHub, they provide you that cloud function integrated with the Firebase or Firebase with the Algolia or the Algolia. So you can look at the sample code and just follow the sample code from the Firebase team. No? Yeah, including Thailand. Yes. And actually, there is one guy from the KUTT. His name is Pashala. In the Firebase developer group, you can find him in Firebase developer group. There's 3,000 people in this group. Pashala provide a blog post about how to do the full text with the real-time database. You use an Elasticsearch and Firebase real-time database. How function for Firebase is example. Thanks.
Okay, I think if you have any question, you can ask me later. Right. Okay. So thank you.
Thank you.